In this episode, we talk about how to ease back into training after a holiday break or falling off the wagon. Juan Batista AM asked, what's the best way or thing to do for an athlete to get back into training after taking a holiday break? Thank you. So the first thing I'd say is, when it comes to holiday breaking, you need to prevent deterioration. Most people that excel in sports or who have aesthetic profiles that people look up to, they establish that not necessarily by being obsessed in the day-to-day about what they're doing, but applying that consistently over time. So if you have a version in your head of a holiday break where you put on 10 pounds, you haven't trained in 4 straight days, your sleep quality is horrible, you've been drinking the whole time, it's gonna be a really radical shift to try to get back into your training consistency and into your rhythm. So the first thing you have to do is just prevent deterioration. So takeaways for that: moderate your nutrition. So I'm not an advocate during the holidays of maintaining like perfect macronutrient profiles and eating a separate meal. I've done that in my life with different athletic outings, and I don't really think that's necessarily the best way to have a holiday. I think it's better to be able to eat, spend time with your friends, spend time with your family, not have guilt, and just be able to reflect upon the year and actually be, like in this case on Thanksgiving, actually be thankful. But it should be moderated. It shouldn't be something that just because you're allowing yourself to be a little bit more lax with your nutrition, that you're going to use it as an excuse to stuff everything that you possibly can in your face. Because at some point you're going to have to work that off. Your body's going to have to deal with that excess. You're not used to and conditioned to dealing with it. So that type of deterioration can be pretty profound and pretty difficult to come back from. So that'd be the first. Moderate your nutrition so that the deterioration from your break isn't too far. The second is to move and maintain your ranges. A lot of people say you're training on a regular basis, you train 2 hours a day, and then you do a warm up and maybe go for a walk in the morning or something like that. And that's your just general physical activity level. Then people go on the holidays and they just lounge around all day. They lay, they sit, they're in positions that they're not usually used to being in on a regular basis. And then as a result of that, the ranges of motion that they have, they stiffen up. And then you try to go back into the gym, do the activities that you haven't conditioned yourself to do for 4 or 5 straight days, and all of those patterns feel stiff and unused. Well, that's because they are stiff and unused. So you can just do very little basic warm-up things. You don't need to, hammer your training, but get up 20 minutes early, take your body through a full joint maintenance routine. You can use something like our joint rotations on our movement playlists and go through something that allows you to just get your body feeling good, maybe even break a little bit of a sweat. And it doesn't necessarily need to be a hard training session, but something that just helps you maintain your ranges. Then the final thing I think you can do to prevent deterioration during the holiday break is just maintain a sleep schedule. It doesn't mean you need to get to bed at the same exact time, but if you're normally getting in bed at 9:30 or 10 o'clock, and then during the holidays you're getting to bed at 2, and then on Sunday night you're trying to get up at Monday and reestablish your routine, and now you're falling asleep 4 hours earlier than you just had been trying to than you had just done through your holidays, then again, that's going to be a really, really profound shock. So the first thing that you can do to improve your comeback after a holiday break is make sure that that holiday break doesn't really, really derail you to a level that makes the coming back into training a really shocking stress to the system. So assuming you did all that, or maybe you didn't do all of that and you've already fell off the bandwagon, you're just trying to figure out how to improve your ability to come back and have it be appropriate and positive stress that leads you in a direction of getting better from your training, then I think the first thing that you can do is not set standards on week 1. You're going to have a process of reacclimation. And maybe it's day 1, maybe it's just day 1, day 2, day 3, depending on how fast you adapt and can get back into a routine. But don't set standards that you're gonna hit your PRs, that you're gonna hit the percentages that you've been training to hit on a regular basis, that you're gonna be putting the times up that you're accustomed to putting up, that you're gonna be in peak physical condition. 4 days, even though that's not that long of a period of time, if you're very sedentary and you're deviating your nutrition and your sleep schedule and potentially drinking or doing things to your body that it isn't accustomed to doing, that can be a really, really long acclimation time to try to get back to your peak physical state. So some people, if you're a professional athlete, maybe that's 1 or 2 training sessions. Other people might be a whole week. But don't set standards on what that training needs to look like. Just get in, move, don't overstress it, don't overthink it, and just allow yourself to get into a rhythm without any pressure about what the execution looks like. Second thing that you can do is warm up thoroughly. Take the time, instead of just coming in and trying to rush to get yourself to your hard training, allow yourself some time to get your blood moving, to break a sweat, to make yourself a little bit more confident about your movements and your executions, and then allow yourself to kind of ease into your training session. So even maybe double your warm-up time in that first session to get yourself rocking and rolling into that training session. And the last thing I think you can do is keep your talk positive and focused on training. A lot of times if you just come into like the Monday after a Thanksgiving holiday and you're just in a normal class environment, you could probably hear 10 or 15 people complaining about how they feel, about being bloated, about being heavier, about what they did over the weekend, about how much they drank, and all of that stuff is just negative reinforcement about what that training quality will be like in that training session. So knowing all of that is true, still try to keep your self-talk positive. So if you feel bad in that training session and you're walking in and you know that all of those things behaviorally weren't optimal for your training, that's okay, but you don't need to verbalize it. You can flip that, and instead of using that as an excuse to say, oh man, my training quality is gonna be shitty, it's like, all right, now I gotta put some work in to offset some of the negative reinforcement I did to my body. I can stay positive. I don't have standards set on this session. I don't need to share with everybody as a badge of honor how shitty I was over those 4 days, because that's not going to be something that allows you in your subconscious to think that you're moving forward and being consistent with your training application. I think if you do those things and you make your training intensity a little bit lower, so just a little bit lighter percentages in strength work, a little bit less effort and energy system work, maybe turn your 4-time workouts into EMOMs, do a little bit more movement training, that'll allow, instead of having this massive shocking stress response on day 1 after a break, you can kind of ease in gradually and try to get back to peak physical form over the course of a week. That'll allow that process of your comeback to be a little bit more enjoyable. Then, because it's more enjoyable, you allow yourself to take breaks a little bit more frequently, and then as time goes on, instead of those breaks being these massive cycles of falling off the bandwagon, eating everything, you just moderate your breaks and they become a little bit more balanced, and you can allow yourself to be sustainable over time. So hopefully that helps with the holidays. It's probably good just information or knowledge for any time you fall off the bandwagon trying to figure out how to get back into a training rhythm, and I hope that helps. When I created Training Think Tank, I wanted it to be just that, a think tank, a group of people that gets together and challenges each other's ideas on training. So what you watch in this video is one coach's beliefs. The other coaches and myself may or may not agree with what was said, but we're okay with that because we want to facilitate a discussion about training in the market.